Hey guys, welcome to JPT. I'm Carson G, and this is Just Plain Tech. Welcome to the beginner's introduction video of Ubuntu, the most popular Linux distribution out there that many people around the world use. Ubuntu, it is completely free and open source. It is fast and stable. As long as you have a 64-bit processor and at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, it will be really fast and stable for you. It uses the GNOME desktop environment, which for those of you who don't know what GNOME looks like, here are a few images of it so you can kind of get a feel of what it is. It's not very similar to something that you would find on a Windows-based computer, but it is really smooth, elegant, and just pretty easy to get used to overall. It's not too different. Ubuntu is based off of Debian, and like Debian, Ubuntu also uses the apt package manager, that's APT, apt. Ubuntu has a graphical front end for apps called the Ubuntu Software Store, so it's just a graphical application you can use to download, like install, remove, upgrade, or whatever apps and software you want, just like you would do on your phone with the Google Play Store or something like that. All the software is free to download, and most of it is completely free no matter what. No upgrading to the full version, no trials, no ads or stuff like that. Most of it's completely free, and it is designed without making money in mind, specifically designed for the user. But there are some exceptions to that, such as proprietary software like Steam, for example, where it's free to download from the software store, but you may have to pay for some of the games that you can get on Steam. So there are a few exceptions like that. So Ubuntu has different versions. There are regular versions and there are long-term support versions, or LTS versions. So you'll know if it's LTS or not, because when you go to the download page, it will say like Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. LTS is long-term support, and that's up to 5 years of support from Canonical. So you will get updates for security, features, and whatnot for 5 straight years. So it's really a good idea to go with the long-term support version. Alright, so let's say some of you already have Ubuntu installed and want to know how to use it. Pretty sure you figured out most of the stuff by now. It's pretty easy to get used to. It's a ready-made Linux distribution, so it's pretty much good to go out of the box. But for using apt, while you could use the Ubuntu Software Store, for those of you who want to do it a little bit more techier and do it in the terminal, you can do that. Even though it may seem daunting because it's a terminal, it's actually really easy to do. It's usually only one command. So let's say installing software. So you would type in sudo apt-get install package name. So let's say Firefox, for example. I would type in sudo apt-get install Firefox. We'll use Firefox for our example. If we're going to remove a software, there are 2 different ways to do this. One, we could type in sudo apt-get remove Firefox, or package name. But so sudo apt-get remove will only remove the apt. It will still keep the data and the configuration files and everything, because normally those are like kilobytes or megabytes, or maybe even bytes, so they're not that much space. They don't take up really anything, and it removes it with the prediction that you're going to go ahead and reinstall it sometime later on down the road, because let's face it, a lot of us sometimes uninstall an app only to reinstall it later. So if you know you're going to do that, you can just use sudo apt-get remove. However, if you want to completely remove any trace of that app on your system, you can type in sudo apt-get purge Firefox, or package name. So say if we're taking our example of Firefox, if I typed in remove Firefox, there would just be configuration files and residual config left over. Whereas if I did purge, all the files and apps and every single trace of it would be removed completely. So there would be no trace of Firefox left on my system. So that definitely frees up more space and declutters your system a lot better. So there's that. And it is good to keep your package information up to date. There are always new packages coming to Ubuntu and new stuff in the repositories. So to update your repositories and make sure your package information is up to date and everything, so installing goes smoothly, you can type in sudo apt-get update. If you want to upgrade your system, upgrade all the packages and everything like that, you can type in sudo apt-get upgrade. That will install or upgrade packages that need to be installed or upgraded. And if you want to do a full upgrade, which will remove the packages you don't need and also install and upgrade packages, you can type in sudo apt-get full upgrade, and that will do the job for you. And every once in a while, once you've had your system for a while and you've had some apps and some apps you've deleted and stuff like that, you might have some leftover dependencies, other packages. So a dependency is kind of like a package that another package relies on. So Firefox may not work without a certain dependency, for example. So maybe you uninstall Firefox and then you have all these Firefox dependencies left over that none of the apps use them, so they're completely obsolete and they're just taking up space on your computer. One way to easily remove all the obsolete packages is to just type in sudo apt-get auto remove, and it will remove all the obsolete packages. If you want to do the same thing but to purge them and remove the configuration files for all those obsolete dependencies, you can type in sudo apt-get auto remove purge, and that will do the job just for you. So that's just a little bit about the terminal, but of course installing, removing, and upgrading can also be done straight from the graphical Ubuntu store. Let's talk about Office. So Ubuntu comes with an Office suite that's called LibreOffice, and it is compatible with Microsoft Word and Google Doc files. So this completely eliminates the need to install Wine, which is a Windows compatibility layer for Linux. It completely eliminates the need to install Wine and then install MS Office after that. You don't need to do that at all, since LibreOffice can lead all your MS Word files straight into LibreOffice, and it can read them and edit them, and you can do whatever you want with them, and it will work perfectly fine. So LibreOffice comes built in with Ubuntu, so in terms of Office, it's already good to go. You don't really need to install any more Office programs for word processing, spreadsheets, presentations. That all comes built in, and it will read any Microsoft Word file you put in there. So that's really nice to have, really simple and easy. And like I said before, Ubuntu can run Steam, so it is good for gaming. Those of you gamers out there, yes, you can run Steam on Ubuntu. Most of the games work as long as you have a powerful computer. So overall, Ubuntu is just a great choice for home, business, school, whatever you want to use it for. I use mine for home, school. I use it to do video editing. I use Ubuntu for pretty much anything I need it to do, and it works perfectly fine. So it's really a great Linux distribution overall, and I highly recommend you try it out today. Link in the description below to download. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.